Hello, everyone. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm just going to check what's going on. How are you all podcasters this evening? We hope you're all very, very well. And you YouTubers, our Ask an Expert audience.
Welcome to The Outside Bride. I'm Emily, and you are?
I am Alan Braithwaite, your husband.
Yeah.
Husband, business partner.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But as you always say, I'll be good for your first husband.
If you were here about 5 minutes before we went on live, you might have heard quite an explosive little
No, it wasn't that explosive. We had a domestic, it's fair to say.
Gentlemen out there, gentlemen.
No, I position it?
No.
Oh no.
I am.
They all think I'm a knob as it is, let alone you confirming the thought process.
When your wife is not feeling great about herself, maybe, I don't know, she's popped out a couple of kids and she's not feeling great body conscious wise and a few more grey hairs, the worst thing you can do is go,
no, I didn't do that. Look, long story short, Emily was in the kitchen and I laugh. It's fair to say I laugh at everything, don't I? It is fair to say I don't.
You're a man child.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't take much serious. I don't take. Is that even a proper sentence? And I walked outside, and Emily was sat there, and I just laughed. And Emily, who was not feeling her best, took it to heart. Now I was in the wrong. I apologised vehemently, and other words I can't think of right now because I'm a bit jaded.
Anyhow.
Well, you know, we've actually got loads and loads to talk about.
We do. I'm still just quite mad at you.
No, that's fine. I accept your public apology. Right. Okay. So let's do formalities first. YouTubers, watchers, listeners, welcome. We hope thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Yes.
Or on playback, etc. We are here, as always, to discuss the amazingness of outdoor weddings, aren't we? Don't look at me like that. Anyway, so if Emily's going to look at me like podcaster, she's giving me like a killer death look, so you know. If what I'm going to do is roll back to last week and discuss when we were asked to bring a tent up to London for ITVs This Morning.
Hang fire. Don't roll into that yet. If you're watching on YouTube today, give us a thumbs up. We'd love a thumbs up. And if you would like to as well, subscribe to our channel down below.
So, yeah. And also, watchers, feel free to ask some questions. We're happy to answer anything live tonight.
Right. Roll back to last week.
Boom. I did that, man-child. Right. Last Thursday, we were invited up to London, ITVs This Morning at Television Centre. For the geeky ones amongst you, I was very geeking out on that. Oh, my goodness, I can't talk.
He was a man-child.
Yeah, I was geeking out because Television Centre was part of my youth, being on the BBC and all those things. So I was very excited to be there, and don't think I'd ever been there before. And yeah, it was awesome. We provided so we own another company called Baylily Bell Tents as well as the Outside Bride, and they wanted. This is the third time they've asked to use one, and second time we've been on. The middle time there was a terrorist attack in London and we couldn't go on. We got bumped, which is fine, obviously. So we were back on. We were very, very excited. And
one of the highlights of Alan's day is that he walked past and had a transaction with Andy Peters off of the 90s.
Yes. So if you'd like to say that, I think I put it on my personal Instagram. So if you go to, I'm at Chad Elvis. If you want to know, ask me and I'll explain it another day.
Man-child.
I am at Chad Elvis on Instagram, and there is my interaction with Andy Peters, which I was very, very pleased about because once again, I'd known Andy Peters since being very young. It's up there with the Scoff, sure.
We hung out with the likes of Alice Beer off of the 90s again.
Yes.
She was all right, wasn't she?
She was lovely.
Her dog took a little kip on our double bed with nice white
That wasn't
linen.
as lovely.
Stanley was lovely.
He was a lovely dog, though.
The nice muddy paws on our bright white linen it was great. And then we were in the green room and we saw Eamon and Ruth and Trini. Alan got very excited because he felt like it was some sort of sign that we should be there on the day because they did a whole segment on how to wear the colour yellow. And Trini wore a bright, almost like a luminous, wasn't it? Day glow.
It was a bit too, not my style.
And there was Alan in the green room getting his phone and going, look, this is my wedding suit. This is like, and no one
I got married in a yellow suit, basically. If you'd like to see a picture of me in my yellow suit for my wedding, post it in the Outside Bride Facebook group or the comments here, and I will share it around. Perhaps we should just share it anyway.
No one wants to see it.
No one wants to see it. Let us know if you want to see it.
So that was our ITV experience.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Whilst we were there, I took a phone call from the BBC, which is it's like we are just all about the media at the moment, aren't we?
Yes,
ITV, lovely. BBC rang. We are going to be doing another guest segment on weddings in August.
We're going to be doing their Ask an Expert, not our Ask an Expert. And anyway, this is the penultimate our Ask an Expert. That's live. That's live. That's quite a lot of asking experts in one sentence, isn't it?
Yes.
Next week's the last live Ask an Expert. There we go.
And then anyway, moving on from our exciting day at the ITV studios, at the weekend we had a wedding to go to, or to help set up with. So that was quite exciting. We like a good wedding, and it was a May weekend. You're always a little bit worried about May sometimes. Is it going to be nice? Is it going to be a bit wet? The forecast looked like it was going to be wet, but it was golden.
Gorgeous. It was gorgeous, wasn't it?
And anyone who might have seen in our other video that Alan posted, I don't know if you put it on this channel or for Baylily channel.
No, it's on this channel and it's on a blog on the Outside Bride website.
Alan went to do the setup on his own, which I wasn't the most happy about, if I'm honest, after his recent heart ticker scare a few weeks back.
2 weeks ago yesterday, I was in hospital.
The thought of going to a very remote field in the middle of the West Sussex without any phone signal, which is going to come on to in a minute, and wasn't best, but he's here today. He's fine.
I'll be honest. I'm like a pretty, what's the word, self-sufficient chap. There's not a lot that phases me generally, and this was a week and a half after being in hospital in a van that we recently had some hiccups in, hadn't we? We've had some flat batteries and flat tires, but in theory is rectified. But you know what vehicles like. So I'm in this field we're going to talk about with no phone signal, which we're going to talk about, and I don't think, very rarely do things actually enter my head, but for a minute I was like, oh yeah, and I was a mile from the nearest house.
So the field that we were in, and I was there.
Well, we need to kind of the title of this section. Are we going to go straight into it?
Going into
Oh, you're doing that. Okay, that's fine. Well done. You're a professional.
Thanks.
That's why I married you.
It was a really, really good setup and a beautiful part of the world, really lovely part of the country, and Alan had a great setup there, and you met the couple, and they were lovely, and they were so excited. What it did flag as suppliers were there are a few little warning signs there that, had they not been taken care of properly, could have changed the entire sort of feel of the day.
Can we say challenges?
There were challenges. There were challenges, which kind of got us talking. Alan did a small video whilst he was there on site, a little vlog, just showing you the site and showing you the track and stuff. But it really did raise some questions to us as wedding suppliers about site visits and making sure that your suppliers that are coming in on board on your day are as informed as humanly possible before they get there, so there are no shockers when they get to there. Because with all due respect, the field was beautiful. It was like this, if you looked at it, it was like a watercolor painting in front of you. You opened up in the morning, tents in the morning after camping the night before, where there's campfires.
I mean obviously we want the views, but genuinely go and have a look at my video just to enjoy the view. Don't worry, ignore me and just watch the view behind me.
It really did hone in on a few key things that actually, by organising a site visit with your key suppliers, not that this is not every single supplier. You don't need to worry about, I don't know, your florist who's dropping in flowers, just dropping them around.
Well, funny enough, I was thinking about that as you're talking. Yes, your florist doesn't necessarily need to do a site visit, but I felt this type of site you would probably want to over communicate with a crib sheet on it. You know, there is no signal, a map, etc., etc.
And this comes down to your setup plans for your actual wedding, the get into your wedding, but also months before, making sure that you can see your suppliers on the ground so they know how to cope with things, because things like weather changes and ground condition changes, the seasons changing. You might look at a field in the summer, or I might look at the field in the autumn and could be getting married in the summer. You might be going for April, which is still going to be quite damp underfoot. There are so many variables, and it's really good to see that site in the flesh so you can start to pick away and work out what's going on. The major challenge for the site that we were at the weekend was the fact that it was a very remote farm. Literally, it was a no-through road, a nice tarmac road. You turn around into the farm. You went in.
Wasn't it 3 miles from the junction all the way up this dead end road, which turned into a track?
And then the track went up into the fields, into where the campsite was. It was a very off the grid type campsite. Wasn't it?
People would go for what do they call them off the grid? Unhooked.
Yeah, unhooked. Unplugged. The track from where the farm building started to get to the site was a mile long on very knobbly, very bumpy, very worn track, wasn't it? And it wasn't a hard surface. It was gravel in places, wasn't it?
Yeah. So actually, there was gravel on the slope. So when you really wanted grip, there was no grip. It was gravel.
When I did the site visit 8-9 months previous to that, because I went down to meet the couple, I turned up in a little sports car because I was feeling a bit fancy in the summer thing with the top down. Let's go to the West Sussex on my own.
Why do we do site visits? We got an old MGF anyway.
It wasn't great. I suddenly realised, actually, had we turned up on the day for the setup with our usual setup, which is a long wheelbase van with a trailer, long wheelbase trailer, there would be no chance on earth that trailer would have got to the entire length of that track and up the hill with a fully loaded van and trailer. It was just not going to happen. But we knew that in advance, so therefore we packed lighter. We didn't take the trailer. We packed in the van solely, and it was absolutely fine. We've said a few times there was no mobile. There wasn't any phone signal.
Very weak.
Flaky.
Very weak. Yeah.
So with that in mind, working that out on the site, and I appreciate you're going to be visiting your wedding venue before you actually get to your wedding, but checking out the mobile phone signal, checking out a few people's mobile phone signal. So the groom and the bride, yes, you're very important, but you're going to be busy on the day. So checking bridesmaids, groomsmen, family members to see
it's really important. And sorry to interrupt, because there's so many potential reasons from you wanting to be able to find out where a supplier is, right up to and including an emergency, right? So, and everything in between, from where are you to 999, you want some signal, or you need to be able to understand what's going on.
On the flip side as well, if you have a supplier arriving on the day of the wedding, it might be a band, it might be a caterer, it might be a florist. If they're lost or they need directions in, and your phone has got 0 bars of signal, they're not going to be able to call you. So therefore, you need to have your secondary number they can ring. So it could be your best man, it could be your mum. It doesn't really matter. Just knowing what everyone's signals are like, and if it is weak, where are your key points in that location where you can get good signal?
I mean, we live in a world where if you find out, for argument's sake, that Vodafone's strong there, getting a Vodafone SIM is a negligible action nowadays.
This is worse. I mean, most places in the UK,
especially we're talking extreme here.
But this was a very, very, very remote site.
However, going back to the remoteness and perhaps those suppliers, whether you've got an ice cream carrot, I'm just trying to think of some random things, a florist, a bouncy castle. The people who aren't necessarily going to do a site visit, I would absolutely create them a crib sheet. This was the sort of venue where a postcode was not good enough, right? It wasn't good enough. It got you on the 3-mile track.
And that's in the most farmers' fields. If you're getting married in a farmer's field, very sort of a green space, you won't have a postcode.
No. And for the sake of creating like a one-sheet of PDF that you can send out to the suppliers with how to get there and the details around it, that's not about you. That's not about you pandering to the suppliers. No. That's about you ensuring they turn up for your wedding. Because we work in an industry where it is unregulated. There are a lot of small companies, and I'm sure as the percentages, the needle swings, there will be people somewhere who go, stuff this, I can't be bothered, I'm going home, and we see them all the time in the Facebook groups. So this is about due diligence, this is about best practice, this is about you going, here's a screenshot of a Google map, here's this one sheet PDF, dear suppliers, this is where we're at, any problems, this number, there is weak mobile signal, you may not be able to get us on your phone, that's their phone, not your phone. So it's about having all of that information available, and I'm a huge believer in over communicating, and it's about making sure and ensuring all of your suppliers have that information.
But making sure as well, going back to
after my preach, I got that.
Making sure if you are remote and your postcode isn't taking you to the direct place where you're going, making sure that you've got signage up in good time, or balloons, or a flag, or something that they can see from the road that's going to get them onto the right way, because they could really end up. We have friends who are in a wedding band. They were on the Hayling Island venue that we know.
Oh yes.
And they turned up in the evening. It was darker. The sun had gone down already. They lit again. It was a similar situation. It was a fixed marquee site, but you go through a farmer's built yard and stuff.
We know a lot where you drive through the farm.
And it's beautiful when you get there. You have stunning views of the Solent right in front of you as well. But they literally got to a fork. They took the left-hand fork. They ended up right in the middle of a field, which was nowhere near the actual venue itself. And a tractor, they got bogged into the ground, and a tractor from the local farm had to come and pull them out.
Oh, I have a similar story actually, as we're on site visits. So I'll be honest, this was us, happy to admit it, not with Baylily Bell Tents, with my old marquee company. And the bride and groom rightly said, look, we've had they had an April wedding. They said, we've had a lot of rain this winter. We think we want to do another site visit before. And we're like, yeah, no problems, because we recognise the importance of them. So we went down, we met them one Sunday morning, went, yeah, no, you're right, there's a lot of water here, but your wedding's 2 weeks away. Forecast was sun, we think we're going to be all right. Anyway, so we did this. We did the site visit. We then turned up with the generator for the wedding. We started to drive around the field, and the generator sunk to its axle in the thing. So the important part here is for you guys that the bride and groom were free. They're clear. You know, it was our problem, and I don't mean that in a funny way, but I mean that as in a some suppliers are probably going to get a bit uppity on why didn't you tell us how wet it was or something like that. They did. They brought us in. They did a site visit. By
informing people the most.
Yeah, they communicated properly with us. We chose to drive the generator on that certain part of the field, and when it sunk, that delayed us as 7 of us tried to dig this generator out.
But it was your responsibility.
But it was our responsibility, and that's the key message here, because they had communicated effectively with us and told us everything we needed to know and should know. It was our responsibility.
Other key reasons to have a site visit before the big day, things like your marquee structure supply, for example. You might have your view of how you want to lay out your field. You might have a certain vista that you want to be pointing towards. You might have an idea of how you want to lay things out. But if, for example, the ground condition isn't great, or in terms of what's it called? What's underneath? Not clay or chalk?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I zoned out for a second, so I had no idea what you were talking about. I was trying not to sneeze.
What the condition of the ground is below, what the slope is doing on the ground. Do marquee companies need to come? Are they putting flooring down? Are they going to have to bring packing to come and level out your floor? They will want to come and see it in the flesh, so they can prepare themselves in terms of what equipment they're going to need to bring. They might also have some other ideas up their sleeve that you might not have thought about. You might have had an image in your head from when you looked on your Pinterest board, but actually these guys you work with for your wedding do this every single weekend of the season. They do probably 2 or 3 events a weekend even. They're doing it all the time, and they have ideas and they have thoughts about how you can tweak things to make things flow better. Again, things like the flooring. Yes, you can have a non-packed floor. You might be on coconut matting, but really, do you want all your guests to be sitting like that whilst they're eating their dinner? It's not ideal. So do insist.
Actually, that's really important. What you don't think's a big slope, a marquee supplier may think's a hill.
Yeah.
So, and it's that, once again, semantics is key here. You go, yeah, it's kind of flat. And it turns out, actually, no, that's a different definition of flat to the marquee company. And so the other thing I was thinking about site visit and a structure company is, you know, a random field in the South Downs like we were at, not so much. But if you're in a back garden or a country house estate or something else, it's pipes under the ground.
Yeah.
You know, there's an element of due diligence on that, and you inviting them along to go, can you check the ground for
with a CAT scanner potentially?
Yeah, absolutely.
Other things to talk about in terms of why they might want to have a site visit, and this is for any of your suppliers that are coming and bringing infrastructure into your day. Alan just hit the nail on the head. If you're going to a garden or you're going to a manor house, maybe with some nice grounds on the outside, what the access is. Again, Alan's done a wedding before, and I always remember Kimberly's, and she won't mind. We know her quite well.
But it was our problem. It was in the very. I think it was like our first job.
They had a very lovely, substantial sized garden. Enough for a 9 by 20 marquee or whatever it was. You know, it was a massive garden, but there was no vehicle access to the rear of the garden. So everything had to be walked from the front garden through the side of the house down into the main garden.
7 ton of marquee equipment.
7 tons of marquee equipment, which the boys were fine with, and they managed
I didn't
to
need
get
to go to
around
the gym
it.
that week.
But again, it's making sure that your teams are aware of what they're going to be looking at, and how would you get a toilet block through that kind of space? How can you drive things on? Where are you going to put things that are going to make it easy for everybody, and that no one's going to really be breaking their backs unnecessarily because they already know before they get there what to bring. As
a flip side to this, and I don't know if you've got much more to add, but I'm thinking of putting it. Look, we don't want to scare you. But what the kind of flip of this is, if you're booking quality supplier, none of this will be a problem to them. None of this. The site visit won't be a problem. They will ask you what the access is like. They will ask you, these questions. So please don't be worried or scared. These are just things we always think you need to think about. But if you're booking a quality supplier, these are the things they will ask you anyway.
Yeah. So and they might ask directly for a site visit anyway. You might want to bring them down on site just to get to know them before the wedding, and there's nothing wrong with that. And
I would. Do you know what? Jokes aside, if I was giving, this was my first wedding, all jokes aside, and I was about to give someone £6,000, give or take, of my hard-earned cash from Marquee, I'd want to meet them. So I felt like I was getting a bit more for my money. I'm being honest. Sorry, everyone, if you disagree, but absolutely, I'd want to meet them. And if I could then roll that into the site visit and kind of cross and tick all that off at the same time.
Sometimes it allows any fears or any worries beforehand, because sometimes a face-to-face meeting where you can just chat things through rather than emails are great. And I am a massive advocate for the email trail, mainly because phone calls are awesome. But I will always make sure I follow up a phone call with an email with those key points of what we have said in that phone call in an email. Emails are great because there's nothing that can be lost in translation. It's written down black and white to see this is what has been agreed. So sometimes that's fine, but obviously you can get along with actually going for a site visit where you can talk face to face. I would still insist on having that little bit of interaction afterwards, where you can write down what your key points were, takeaways after that. But sometimes if you just want to chat to someone, it's absolutely fine.
I just kind of final point as a supplier, one of the trickiest things in the wedding industry, I've got to think how to word this, is basically it's about being a trusted supplier, because there's so many bad stories and badness around. I can't think of the word. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking.
It's negative. There's
negativity around wedding suppliers, and they just upped the price because it's a wedding, and they just didn't turn up, and I paid for my dress and they just never did it. And there's so much that one of the biggest issues as a wedding supplier is staying above that line and ensuring your reputation's above that line. And don't get me wrong, 98% of wedding suppliers 99% of wedding suppliers in the world are amazing, but there's so much negativity. We have to do what we can do so that I really can't. I'm so sorry. I just can't think.
It's turning into me today.
No, I know. That's really not very helpful me saying that, but I just can't think.
That's it for site visits. If you want to ever ask us anything and you want to put a question either in the comments below, or you want to send us an email just to clarify some things, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to do that. You can email us on info@theoutidebride.co.uk.
I thought we had a couple of things. We were going to talk, as always, very quickly. Module 1 of the planning sessions is free. So if you are getting married, we have the ultimate guide to planning your own outdoor wedding. We have loads of worksheets and videos where we basically tell you everything in a nice little chronological order of planning your day. And module 1 of that is free. And that's all about where to start and how to get your ship in order and all these things. So our links to that in comments beneath this, and obviously in podcast description. And what was the other thing?
We're doing some one-to-ones.
We're doing some one-to-ones. That was the other thing. So Emily and I do one-to-ones on Skype video chat that are proving very successful with brides and grooms and couples. And they like to just talk through their plan, tap into our expertise. But what we're doing is we're planning a a face-to-face day with slots available. There's a couple of slots gone and there's a few more slots, so I will basically, if you're interested in that, drop us an email.
Add some more dates.
So basically, info@theoutidebride.co.uk. let us know if you're interested.
We had a competition winner a few weeks ago, and we decided to have a face-to-face one-to-one with them, and I really liked it. I like talking to people on the phone sometimes. I get a little bit off a tangent about weddings, so I get very excited, but I thought it'd be really nice, as I do enjoy that, for us to open out a few days where you can come along, to our base in Hampshire, or not to our base, somewhere a venue in Hampshire in the UK. So if you're in America, I'm really sorry. I'm happy to fly over to you if you want to deal with my expenses. Or let's come visit us. That's absolutely fine. But
we have a spare room.
We do. We have 3 kids, so you don't want to stay with those guys.
There's a hotel 400 meters away. They're all right.
But we'll be opening up some slots for you to come down, and you can be either at the beginning of your wedding planning, where you just want some clarity on where to start, what to focus on, all that kind of stuff. You might be in the middle, where you're really struggling on a key item of your wedding planning that you just need some steerage on, or you might be at the very, very end of your planning journey, where you are weeks away, maybe in that final stage where you've done everything.
Yeah, there's another roar, but keep going.
You've done everything, and you just want some eyes on your wedding, and to make sure that all your T's are crossed, dots are right, dots and I's.
Oh look, I'm the one not being able to talk.
My word!
Or they might just want to spend an hour with you drinking coffee.
Or a gin. Gin, right. So I am drinking.
Are we well off on a tangent?
It wouldn't be Alan Emily.
Yeah,
Alan Emily,
true.
Emily and Alan. Oh my God. Anyhow, I'm drinking the last of.
Sorry, did you say anyhow?
These podcasters.
Sorry, look, we actually have people watching.
I know. These podcasters who listen to us without any visual right now, they must be going, what the
I do
hell?
hope that the
Why
podcast
do we listen to you
each
week? You still would listen, so thank you so much for listening. I don't
podcast
always know,
is booming. Yeah.
I don't always know why you listen to us, but thank you very much anyway. We are down to the dregs of our gin globe. We have a globe full of gin. It's not looking too healthy right now.
No, but the good thing is I'm not currently drinking.
Alan's on a health kick with his heart.
Yeah.
I'm drinking enough for all of us because, well, his heart stressed me out. And it's my birthday next month. So what I would really, really, really like is some bottles of gin to go into my gin.
I don't think you can publicly say that. Is that cool?
Just did. Well, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
so if anyone wants to buy me a birthday present, 23rd of June, feel free to buy me gin, because I really do need to replenish this gin globe. It's quite a sad state of affairs. The leftover chocolate gin is still not great, and I can't bring myself to throw it away, but it was minging.
No, it was minging. We brought you that, didn't you? Right, let's wrap up some housekeeping. So, link to the blog below that takes you to the vlog of, oh my goodness, of the site we've been talking about, right? But also, it's on our YouTube channel. So if you're just watching this on YouTube,
go and find it.
It'll be like the last video uploaded if you go to uploads. So go and check that out. What else was I going to say? Yes, please, YouTubers, like, comment, subscribe as always. Watchers, feel free to say hello right now if you want to. We're here for another minute or two. So yeah, like, comment, thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, please. We would love that so much. Podcasters, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Who would have known? Let us know what you think. Let us know if you've got any feedback. We love feedback. Feedback's a gift.
I'm quite excited by the future of the podcast, actually, because as you probably all know by now, this live session is changing. Next week is our very last, for now, live session of
about live periodically.
Oh, we will be. You know us. We can't go.
We're addicted to it.
This session is going to be going into a pre-recorded video, and we're going to be doing a lot of focus on our podcast with some details of episodes that are more like honed into specific areas of the outdoor wedding planning, which are really, really exciting. We've got some guest speakers who want to come on board as well. There's lots going on with the podcast. So if you are on YouTube watching today and you haven't even known we have a podcast, do feel free to check us out on iTunes or SoundCloud. We're there.
Or Spotify.
And any of the other channels.
Yes. Right. Thank you ever so much, everyone. Thank you. We promise you, we mean that. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And we look forward to seeing you next week for the last Ask an Expert Live. Have a good time. Bye.